Itch.io is a website with a bunch of, among other things, little games. That's what I know it for, at least. You know, you little indie games, tiny little indie games. Oh, not this. No, it's a really, really, really big deal. You know, I've talked about this before in the context of Tumblr or like what you know, people's Patreons or PayPals or whatever. But after pressure from payment processors like MasterCard, you know, itch.io has removed all not safe for work content from the entire site. I mean, we're talking about an enormous, like, any piece of media or art that was you've titties out or something, just the payment processors won't allow it now. Not the porn. No, I didn't say porn. I said any not safe for work content. Have you enjoyed Grand Theft Auto? Have you enjoyed the Witcher games? What about Baldur's Gate? Any not safe for work content. That was the line there. Now, mind you, I apologize for being woker than thou, but porn is art. I don't think that the payment processors should be categorically disqualifying websites from hosting pornography either. That's insane. Like, that's several steps beyond what Texas and such are already doing, which is like it's like age verification to go on Pornhub or whatever. Like, it's just banning it outright, which is insane. Like, it's just a unfathomable level of control being exercised by a monopoly of payment processors who are trying to appeal to the political sensibilities of satanic panic type concerned mothers, you know? Yes, Steam is also trying to do something like this, or they're pressuring Steam likewise. Steam recently banned a bunch of, they didn't ban all not safe for work content. They banned like games that were like porn games about incest or something, which, whatever your opinions on that, I categorically reject this like creeping invasion of oh, you're right, it is on screen right now, of payment processors dictating what will or won't be allowed on websites. I thought this was Visa. MasterCard and Visa. I mean, those are the two big ones, right? They banned an actual rape game. Listen, if you want to ban a rape game, I think that's fine. I would just like it if Steam did that with Steam's terms of service, not a bunch of evil corporate payment processing overlords saying, no, sorry, we've gotten too many letters written in from like suburban mothers. You're actually going to have to eliminate like 40% of the content on the site or something. That's absolutely terrifying. They've done this with PayPal and Patreon as well, you know, like people, for example, who make a living off of drawing not safe for work art, like say they're drawing furry porn or whatever, many such cases. You know, there have been people who have lost their incomes because this nanny state tyrannical crackdown is hitting them too. It's crazy. They did do this with OnlyFans for a while, yes. I think this is the bill that would affect this crap. Well, it's not even the bill. I mean, the payment processors are doing this on their own. It's terrifying. Oh, by the way, itch.io, they didn't just delist it. If you had the game in your library, in your account, they removed it. So they just straight up deleted your money, essentially. They didn't even like delist it from being purchased again. They just removed it entirely from, which is contrary to how itch.io typically functions. They're not Steam, you know. Itch.io is pretty, like, you know, they don't do the DRM thing. Isn't that straight up illegal? Arguably, yeah. Did they refund? My understanding is that they did not. Wasn't that the whole selling point of itch? The fact that you actually own the games you download? Yeah, a huge part of it. It's very, very bleak. Like, we're talking about, in all likelihood, games like Grand Theft Auto 6 or whatever, or Cyberpunk or The Witcher, any other big high-profile game like that, they're going to be allowed to have titties. But this kind, because money, right? But this kind of cultural puritanism enforced by payment processors, again, not even by the sites that host them, but by the processing, you know, MasterCard, Visa, maybe a few others, it's deeply totalitarian. Do you really want them to have the final say on what is or isn't allowed, what you get to make your living off of? Because you can't even appeal, right? You can't even appeal. It's being done. What are you going to do? Send an appeal letter to MasterCard? It's not like you can message itch.io and go like, hey, what the man? You just destroyed like my entire category of games that I made because there were tits drawn in them or something like that. This seems to clarify what was done. They say that nothing was removed from people's libraries. I've seen multiple people say that they saw their stuff disappear from their libraries, so maybe it's country by country? Or maybe I was just given wrong information on that. Visa, is doing this because of pressure from an Australian Christian activist group called Collective Shout. It's an Australian group. It's from there. Why not just use alternate payment methods for not safe for work games? I don't think you understand. If it's hosted on itch.io, the argument from Visa and MasterCard is that they won't work with itch.io if the site hosts those games at all. It's not that you can go on and use like a different method, like a non-credit card, like you use direct billing to a checking account or something like that. It's that they won't host it. It's by an anti-abortion feminist, I kid you not. Okay, so Swerf then, gotcha. I know the type. Same anti-porn group that campaigned against Steam. Our ability to process payments is critical. So it's just a group of Australian pseudo-feminists who are emailing Visa and MasterCard over and over. I think MasterCard had planned this for a while. Maybe, yeah, they might just be using a convenient excuse. Collective Shout in his Australian pressure group claiming to be against the objectification of women and sexualization of girls, for anyone against the pornification of culture. Its previous video game activities have included calling for a ban on GTA 5 and promoting a 2018 petition to pull Quantic Dream's Detroit Become Human, arguing it depicted child abuse and violence against those were bad. It's bad when those happen. Ban Tyler, the Creator, from touring the country in 2015. I don't even know what that's about. Okay. The Detroit Creator has a history of objectifying women, though, like in the Heavy Rain creep scene. David Cage? Yeah, but like you don't have to cede ground or do like well, you have to hand it to them, to this totalitarian conservative nonsense, okay? You don't have, like, there's something problematic about this media, therefore I support like the hammer of God coming down from the 3 payment processing companies that control the planet to categorically ban anything and everything about, like, you don't have to give them anything. Another source, they defended cuties. This quote unquote activist group. Fascinating. Why ban objectifying women in games when we don't even ban it? I mean, it's like a successful, which is terrifying, but like an implementation of the classic person with so little media literacy, they can't tell the difference between media depicting a thing and condoning a thing. And by the way, even if media condones a bad thing, I don't necessarily think that should be an argument for censorship. It's kind of a case-by-case thing. At the very least, I would like that TOS to be managed by the website itself so you can deal with the website rather than the immortal almighty payment processor. Quick vid about it? The hell is this? Collective Shout. Okay. You deserve rape. We won't be silenced by gamers' threats and abuse. Yeah, I can kind of get the feel for what sort of website this is. I don't know, this feels very psyopy to me. Well, maybe Visa and MasterCard are doing it of their own volition. They're just using this as an excuse. I don't know. Yes, their logo is a butthole. That is true. I don't know. Pretty goddamn spooky, though. This GOP bill seems to stop credit cards and banks from doing this. So you're suggesting then that they're doing this, they're using this as an excuse, but in reality, they're trying to preemptively align themselves with or conform to the expectations of this bill? Yeah, I remember this one. This bill places restrictions on certain banks, credit unions, and payment card networks if they refuse to do business with a person who complies with the law. Restrictions, electronic fund system, da-da-da. Banks and other specified financial institutions are allowed to deny financial service to a person only if the denial is justified by a documented failure of that person to meet quantitative, impartial, risk-based standards established by advance. Maybe. This, if anything, this seems like it's doing the opposite. This is giving people legal protection against that kind of behavior from payment processors. Potentially. I don't know. This stuff is complicated. I think that's what they said. Well, I have to read chat pretty quickly. Bad excuse. Shut the f up, Richard Fallis. You're responsible for like a third of the content in VGG anyway. You're the reason why the feed keeps moving the way it does. Why are there only like 2 major credit card companies in the world? Well, payment processors and monopolization. I mean, the problem again is that like it would not be made better if there were 50, because then like you pull out your credit card, you know, it'd be like having American Express except everywhere. Nobody accepts you, you know. This is something where there should be literally like one option and it's state run. There's no reason for this to be private. America does suck, Masaigu. State run internationally. Well, in practice, that's how most stuff like this works anyway, right? Like Visa and MasterCard are effectively American companies. Wait, I use Amex all the time. Okay, all right, okay, yes, you're all very woke. Do you think they'll ever come after OnlyFans? China recently banned it. I mean, I think that, for one, China's ban is superficial, and for two, they've already come after OnlyFans. Like, people who do sex work online have already had trouble with payment processors. They've already had trouble with continuing to receive income. But there's never going to be a big categorical, like across the board definitive ban, because people like OnlyFans, people like pornography, people like the existence of sex workers. They just want them to be stigmatized, right? You know, the goal of the sexual conservative is not to eliminate sexual exploitation. In fact, they often like it. What they want to do is relegate it to the shadows so they don't have to, A, think about it, and B, when it's engaged with, or any kind of sex work, you know, it's treated as like a dirty secret rather than a legitimate part of society. That way they don't have to treat sex workers like real people. Oh, at this point, we're not even talking about sex work. We're talking about making a video game that has titties in it, which, like, Christ. Do you think restricting or regulating OnlyFans would be a good thing? Restricting or regulating in what way? What are we looking to achieve, you know? To ban children from using it? I think that's already regulated. I think that regulation already exists. I would be surprised if it didn't. Why do you have so many Swedish fans? Scandinavian people are very online.